The stars above Volantria shimmered like frozen tears. Queen Zelera stood alone on the high balcony of her royal palace, holding a small pendant in her hand. It was shaped like a crystal feather and glowed softly in the moonlight. It was once worn by her daughter, Princess Alira, before she vanished 5 years ago. Zelira's long violet hair flowed in the wind. Her golden eyes stared at the endless sky, searching for a ship that never returned. People had stopped talking about Alira. Long ago, the Galactic Council had declared her dead. The search parties were recalled. Even her own guards had lost hope. But Zelira hadn't. "I know you're out there," she whispered to the stars. "Somewhere, somehow. I'll find you." Inside the palace, ministers and advisors waited. A new war was brewing near the outer colonies, and the Varelian Empire was expected to take sides. But Queen Zelira wasn't interested in politics. Not anymore. Her heart was still broken. Her empire strong, but her soul empty. Far away, across space, on the edge of human territory, Sergeant Kyle Reeve sat in a dusty command chair. The lights on his small outpost flickered weakly. The place had been forgotten, just like him, once. A hero of Earth's elite forces, Kyle now worked alone, guarding an old space station no one cared about. He sipped cold coffee and stared at a blinking console. "Another garbage signal," he muttered. His AI companion, a smooth voice named Mira, answered gently. "Not garbage, Sergeant. It's old, very old, and weak. But the language is not human." Kyle leaned forward. The signal was broken, full of static. But then he heard it, a soft, scared voice. "A child. Please, help. I want my mom." His heart skipped a beat. "Replay that," he said quickly. The voice repeated, slightly clearer this time. The words were desperate. They didn't sound like a trap. They sounded real. "Can you trace it?" Kyle asked. "Very difficult," Mira replied. "But I believe it came from somewhere near Zcor 9. That area is marked as unsafe. Pirate territory." Kyle stood up. His mind raced. Zcor 9. It was an old place full of rumors, slavers, warlords, mercenaries. No official patrols went there anymore. "Who would leave a child behind in a place like that?" he whispered. Mira was quiet. Kyle knew he wasn't supposed to leave his post. The Galactic Council had rules. He wasn't even supposed to pick up alien signals. But something about the voice wouldn't leave him alone. Something deep inside told him this child needed help, and he was the only one listening. Back on Volantria, Queen Zelera walked through the royal garden. The flowers here bloomed only once every 5 years. Today was that day. But she didn't feel joy. She sat near a tall tree, where she used to read stories to Alira. She was only 10, Zelera whispered to herself. Too young to be taken. The memories returned. How Alira had gone on a peaceful mission to a nearby moon. How the royal cruiser vanished without warning. How only pieces of wreckage were found, and no signs of life. But deep in her heart, Zelira never believed her daughter was dead. Her head priest arrived and bowed. "Your Majesty, the Council demands your voice on the coming war. Earth has already declared neutrality." Zelira didn't answer right away. Instead, she looked at the sky again. "I want to send another search ship," she said. The priest hesitated. "With respect, Majesty. It has been 5 years." Then, "We will search for 5 more," she said, her voice strong. "Until I see her with my own eyes, I will not stop." Back on the station, Kyle prepared his old patrol ship. It wasn't pretty, but it could fly. Mira activated the engines. "This mission is unauthorized," the AI warned. "If the Council finds out—" "I don't care," Kyle said. "That voice, that girl. If no one else will help, I will." "You don't even know who she is?" "I don't need to. She's just a kid. She's scared. That's enough for me. Kyle checked the ship's weapons. Light armor, 2 cannons. Not much, but better than nothing. He grabbed his old pulse rifle and strapped it to his back. The hangar doors opened. Stars filled the view. Let's go, Kyle said. The journey to Zekor 9 took 3 days. The area was full of old asteroid fields and dead stations. Ships had disappeared here before. Kyle flew low and silent, avoiding scanners. Mira worked on decoding more of the signal. Each day, it grew clearer. They took me. I don't know where I am. Please, Mom. On the 3rd night, Kyle saw something strange. A signal buoy hidden inside an asteroid. It looked old, but still active. Mira confirmed it was Varelian. Technology. This might be our lead, she said. Kyle docked his ship and entered the dark station. It smelled of rust and oil. Empty cages lined the walls. His boots echoed in the silence. Then he found a small room. Inside, an old recorder. He pressed play. The same voice came out. Clearer now. My name is Alira. My mom is Queen Zalira of Valantria. If you hear this, please tell her I'm alive. Kyle's eyes widened. Queen Zalira, he whispered. That's royalty. This girl is a princess? Suddenly, footsteps echoed nearby. Kyle ducked behind cover. Shadows moved. Pirates? Slavers? He wasn't sure, but now he knew 2 things. The girl was real. Someone didn't want her found. He slipped back to the ship, heart pounding. Mira, he said, we're not just saving a child. We're saving a princess. Then we must hurry, she replied, because now we're not the only ones who know she's still alive. The stars outside the ship flickered like sparks from a dying fire. Sergeant Kyle Reeve leaned back in the pilot's seat, staring at the navigation screen. The route to Zekor 9 was full of danger. Old debris fields, pirate zones, and abandoned warships floated like ghosts in space. But none of that scared Kyle. He had a mission now, to find the missing alien princess and bring her home. Mira, the ship's artificial intelligence, spoke softly. We are approaching the outer edge of Zekor 9 system. No known patrols or signals in the area. Kyle checked his rifle, then looked at the small pendant now hanging, near the controls. It was the same one Queen Zalira had once given her daughter, Alira. Kyle had found the matching twin back on the old station. There was no doubt now. The voice in the message was real. Alira was alive, and someone was keeping. Her hidden Zekor 9 was a mess of broken planets, shattered moons, and forgotten stations. Long ago, it was a mining hub. Then came the wars, the pirates, and the smugglers. Now it was a dead place, perfect for people who wanted to stay hidden. Kyle piloted his ship low through an asteroid field. He switched off the main engines. Drifting quietly. I'm picking up faint life signs, Mira said. Deep inside the old mining station called Core X. Let's check it out, Kyle replied. He landed inside a dark hangar. Rusted doors creaked. No lights, no sound. Perfect place for a prison. Kyle stepped out, rifle in hand, helmet on. His boots crunched over metal dust. Mira's voice guided him through the narrow halls. Left corridor. Motion detected. 3 life forms. Kyle paused, then moved forward, slow and silent. In a small metal cell, deep underground, a young girl sat curled in the corner. Her skin was pale blue, and her eyes glowed faintly violet. Her clothes were worn, her hair messy, but there was still strength in her eyes. This was Princess Alira. She whispered the same words she'd whispered for years. Mom. I'm still waiting. The door opened. She jumped up, ready to run, but stopped. A figure stood there, tall, armored, and holding a strange weapon. Not one of the guards, not like the others. Don't move, Kyle said calmly, raising a hand. I'm not here to hurt you, Alira stared. You're human. Yes, Kyle said. My name is Kyle. I got your message. Her eyes filled with tears. She didn't believe it, not at first. Too many fake hopes in the past. Who sent you? She asked. Your mother never stopped looking, Kyle replied. She never gave up. Alira covered her mouth. Her knees gave out. She sobbed, softly, quietly. Kyle knelt down. You're safe now. They moved fast. Kyle opened the other. Cells. 2 alien children inside, scared and weak. He guided them all back to the ship. Every step, he checked the corners, expecting guards, guns, traps, and he was right. Alarms blared. Contact! Mira shouted. Multiple hostiles coming from the north corridor. Kyle didn't hesitate. He lifted his rifle and fired. Red bolts lit the hall. Mercenaries in dirty armor returned fire. Kyle moved quick, taking cover, protecting the children behind him. Run! He shouted. Alira hesitated, then grabbed the smaller kids and pulled them forward. Kyle dropped 2 attackers, then followed. The ship roared to life. Mira opened the ramp. Kyle dashed inside, firing one last shot before the ramp closed behind him. Take us up, he shouted. The ship blasted off. Enemy fighters followed, red streaks cutting across space. Alira clung to the seat beside Kyle, her hands shaking. You're doing great, he told her. We're almost clear. Suddenly, the ship rocked. Missile hit, Mira warned. Shields failing. Kyle took manual control. He pushed the engines to full. The ship dove into a debris field, using broken asteroids as cover. 2 fighters followed. Kyle grinned. Let's show them what an Earth pilot can do. He twisted the ship through tight spaces, scraping metal and spinning through broken wrecks. The enemy pilots tried to keep up, but one smashed into a rock. The second fired wildly, missing. Kyle looped behind him. Bye, he said. He fired. 2 plasma shots. The enemy ship exploded in silence. They escaped into deep space. Everyone was quiet. Alira sat near the window, watching the stars. You really came all this way, she said. I had to, Kyle replied. Why? You don't even know me. Kyle sat across from her. I lost my sister during the war. She was about your age. I couldn't save her. But maybe saving you is my way of making peace with that. Alira looked down. I thought I'd never leave that place. I thought my mother forgot me. Kyle reached into his pocket and handed her the matching pendant. She didn't forget. Alira stared at it for a long time. Then slowly, she smiled. Hours later, Mira delivered bad news. Encrypted. Message intercepted. Someone knows the princess is alive, and they're offering a bounty. How much? Kyle asked. Too much, Mira replied. Every hunter in the quadrant will come for her. Kyle sighed. Then we need to move fast. Alira stood up. Where are we going? To a hidden station called Vesper Point, Kyle said. It has an old Varelian relay. If we can reach it, we can send a private message to your mother. Alira nodded. Let's go. Kyle looked at her. This girl who had survived 5 long years in the dark, never giving up. You're stronger than most soldiers I know, he said. She grinned. I'm a princess. We don't give up. As the ship jumped into hyperspace, Queen Zalira stood once again on her balcony. She felt something in her heart, a warmth she hadn't felt in years. One of her guards approached. Majesty, there is something you should see. He handed her a small data pad. Zalira pressed play. A faint voice filled the air. Mom? I'm still waiting. Her hands trembled. The stars above shined a little brighter. Kyle's ship floated in hyperspace like a small fish swimming in a fast river. Inside, the air was quiet, except for the soft humming of engines. Sergeant Kyle Reeves stood in the control room, staring at the galaxy map. His eyes were sharp. His body was tired, but his mission kept him strong. Princess Alira sat on a bench nearby, holding the glowing pendant Kyle had given her. It was the last piece of her old life, the life before she was taken. Her eyes looked sad, but hopeful. You okay? Kyle asked. Alira nodded slowly. I'm just thinking, Is my mother still the same? Will she even know me? Kyle gave her a gentle smile. She never stopped looking for you. She'll know. Just then, Mira's calm voice filled the ship. Alert. 2 ships entering our trail. Fast movers. Not friendly. Kyle stood up straight. They found us already? Yes, Mira replied. They are bounty hunters. 1 Varkon class, 1 Dragos type. Weapons fully charged. Kyle's hands moved quickly across the controls. Can we outrun them? Negative, Mira said. Their engines are stronger. Alira looked scared. What do we do? Kyle pulled down the metal shutter over the windows. We don't run. We survive. Outside the ship, 2 dark fighters chased after Kyle's smaller vessel. The bounty hunters were well trained. They didn't miss. One of them, a tall, spiky alien named Grok, smiled as he locked onto the human ship. Target confirmed, he said. The princess is on board. The reward will make us rich. His partner, a cold-blooded female named Corin, laughed. Let's take her, dead or alive. Inside the ship, Kyle opened a weapons locker. He handed Alira a small, round device. Emergency escape pod control, he said. If things go bad, you press that button. It'll send you far and fast. Got it? Alira held it tight. But what about you? Kyle gave her a calm look. Let me do my job, princess. Mira's voice came again. Enemy ships have locked weapons. Shields at 90%. The first hit came like thunder. The ship shook. Sparks flew from the walls. Kyle jumped into the pilot's seat and grabbed the controls. We're going into the asteroid field, he shouted. The ship dove into a nearby belt of spinning rocks and shattered moons. Giant chunks of ice and stone flew past the windows. Kyle flew through them like a bird dodging falling trees. The bounty hunters followed, but they struggled. One got clipped by a large asteroid, sending it spinning. Grak growled, "This human is insane!" Inside the cockpit, Kyle laughed to himself. That's what they used to say about me. He spun the ship sideways, then upward. Laser blasts flew past the hull, missing by inches. Mira, he said, how's the power? Shields at 45%. Hull damage minor, but 1 engine is overheating. Redirect power to front shields. I'm going to try something crazy. You always do, Mira said. Kyle found a large spinning asteroid with a hole in the middle, like a tunnel. He turned the ship toward it. Alira screamed, "That's too small!" "Trust me!" Kyle shouted. He flew straight through the narrow gap. The bounty hunters tried to follow. The first ship made it halfway, then exploded as its wing hit the rock. The second one pulled away, retreating. Kyle cheered. "Yes!" But then Mira said, "Warning! Engine failure! We're going down!" The ship crash-landed on a small mining asteroid nearby. Metal groaned, and smoke filled the air. Sparks flew. Lights went out. Kyle grabbed Alira and pulled her toward the escape chamber. "We'll fix it, but first we need to hide." He opened the side hatch and stepped into the cold, dark air of the asteroid. The ground was rocky and sharp. Old mining machines lay broken around them. The place was abandoned. "Let's find shelter," he said. They found a small cave near the edge of the mining zone. Inside, Kyle lit a flare. Alira sat near a rock, rubbing her cold arms. "I thought we were going to die," she said softly. "But we didn't," Kyle replied. "You're alive. That's what matters." Alira looked up at him. "Why are you doing all this for me?" Kyle paused, then sat down beside her. "When I was your age, my family lived on Mars. Pirates attacked our colony. I hid, but my sister was taken. I never saw her again. I swore that day, if I ever got a chance to save someone else's little sister, I'd do it." Tears welled up in Alira's eyes. She didn't say anything, but she moved closer to him and leaned her head on his arm. For the first time in years, she felt safe. The next morning, Mira's voice came through Kyle's portable comm. repairs. Complete. Engines stable. We can leave this rock. Kyle and Alira walked back to the ship. The sky was dark, the stars hidden behind asteroid dust. But the ship stood tall, ready to fly again. As they climbed the ramp, Kyle looked at Alira. Next. Stop. Vesper Point. Vesper Point was an old, hidden station built deep inside a hollow moon. Few knew it still existed. Kyle had used it once during a secret mission. It had a working Varelian relay, just what they needed. When they arrived, Mira docked the ship, gently. Power low but stable, she said. Relays are still working. Inside the station, dust covered everything. Alira coughed as they walked through. This place smells like old shoes. Kyle laughed. That's because it's old. But it'll do. He connected the relay and uploaded the recorded message. To Queen Zelira of Vilantria. This is Sergeant Kyle Reeve. I have your daughter. She's safe. I'm bringing her home. He looked at Alira. Do you want to say something? She stepped forward, looked into the camera, and said, Mom, I'm back. He saved me. Her voice cracked, but she finished the sentence. Her eyes filled with tears. Kyle sent the message. Then they waited. Across the stars, deep in the royal palace, Queen Zelira sat on her throne. She hadn't slept in days. Her advisors still talked of war, but her mind was elsewhere. Suddenly, a signal arrived. The royal guard rushed in. Majesty, a message from a human soldier. Zelira stood. The screen lit up. First came Kyle's message, then her daughter's face, her voice. Mom, I'm back. He saved me. Tears poured down. Zelira's face. Her hands trembled. Her guards fell silent. After 5 years, her daughter was alive. Queen Zelira stood frozen in the royal chamber. The image of her daughter, older, thinner, but alive, still flickered on the screen. Beside her was a human soldier, armored and calm. Mom, I'm back. He saved me. The message ended. Silence filled the room. Ministers stared. The guards said nothing. For a moment, the entire palace seemed to stop breathing. Then, Queen Zelira dropped to her knees. Her hands shook. Her tears hit the cold marble floor. She's alive, she whispered. My Alira, she's really alive. Inside the grand hall, news spread like wildfire. The missing princess was alive, saved by a human. In secret, the queen summoned her closest generals. A red alert was sent through the empire, their warships readied. Their royal flagship, the Radiant Star, was prepared for departure. Majesty, said General Veron, bowing low, if your daughter is truly alive, we must act quickly. But there's a problem. Zelira looked up. What problem? The Galactic Council, Veron said. They believe the human soldier kidnapped her. They do not trust Earth. They may try to stop you from retrieving her. The queen's eyes turned hard like steel. Then I will go myself, she said, with my entire royal fleet if I must. Let the galaxy try to stop a mother from reaching her child. Meanwhile, Kyle and Alira waited in the hidden relay station. The room was dark and dusty. Old wires hung from the ceiling. Outside, space remained quiet. For now. Kyle sat near the window, watching the stars. Alira lay curled under a blanket, sleeping peacefully. Mira's voice broke the silence. Incoming message from Vilantria. High priority channel. Kyle stood up quickly. Put it on. The screen lit up. Queen Zelira's face appeared. She looked tired, but full of fire. Her golden eyes locked onto Kyle. Human soldier. I am Queen Zelira of Vilantria. You have my daughter. Name your price. Kyle was caught off guard. I don't want anything, Your Majesty. Zelira raised an eyebrow. Then what do you want? I want her to go home, Kyle said simply. That's all. For a moment, the queen said nothing. Then she smiled faintly. She told me, You saved her life more than once. I just did what anyone should have done, Kyle replied. Not many would risk their life for a stranger, Zalaira said. You have earned my deepest respect. Kyle nodded. But we have a problem. Bounty hunters, mercenaries, the council believes I took her. The Queen's face turned cold. Then we will meet in neutral space. I will bring my royal ship. Come to the Hollow Star Expanse. No one dares fight there. I will take my daughter back, myself. The next day, Kyle prepared the ship for one last journey. He checked the engines, repaired broken wires, loaded emergency fuel. Mira guided the systems. Alira helped too. She had become braver, more confident. The fear in her eyes had faded. Are you ready to go home? Kyle asked her. Alira nodded. I've waited 5 years for this. He smiled. Then let's bring you home, Princess. But not everyone wanted that. In a dark space station orbiting a shattered planet, bounty hunters gathered. Screens showed the massive reward. A tall alien named Karnak, wearing black armor, addressed the group. The princess is alive. The reward will go to whoever brings her back or brings proof of her death. The queen is moving. So is the human. He slammed a dagger into the table. Intercept them at the Hollow Star and make sure that girl never reaches Velantria. As Kyle's ship approached the Hollow Star Expanse, Mira gave a warning. Enemy signals detected. 5 ships blocking the path. Kyle cursed under his breath. They're already here. He looked at Alira. Go strap in. It's going to get rough. The stars outside shimmered with danger. The Hollow Star was a wide stretch of open space, filled with strange purple mist and magnetic clouds. No one built stations here. No one dared. But it was the perfect meeting point. Kyle powered up the weapons. Mira, give me full shields. Target the lead ship. The enemies moved fast. They weren't just pirates. They were trained. The first enemy ship fired. Kyle twisted to avoid the shot, then fired back. Plasma bolts lit up space. The second ship closed in from above. Mira shouted, "Missile lock!" Kyle rolled the ship, dodging at the last second. The missile exploded behind them, rocking the ship. Alira gripped her seat, eyes wide. "You okay?" Kyle called back. "I trust you," she shouted. That gave him more strength than any shield. Suddenly, a massive shadow appeared behind them. A giant ship, the Radiant Star, Queen Zalaira's royal vessel, had arrived. The enemy ships paused. The Queen's voice echoed across open comms. "Stand down or be destroyed." The enemy captain laughed. "You wouldn't dare fire in neutral space." "I am a mother," Zalaira said coldly. "Try me." Within seconds, her warship's side panels opened. Hundreds of royal starfighters launched into space. The bounty hunters fled. Kyle's ship moved slowly toward the royal vessel. "Mira," Kyle whispered. "This is it." He turned to Alira. "You ready?" She nodded, her eyes full of tears. The docking doors opened. A path lit with gold and silver welcomed them. Royal guards stood on each side. Trumpets played softly. At the far end stood Queen Zalaira, wearing a long royal robe, her crown shining like a sun. Kyle stepped off the ship first. Then Alira followed. The queen gasped. Her hands flew to her mouth, then her voice broke with emotion. "Alira, my daughter!" Alira ran. "Mom!" They met halfway and fell into each other's arms. Both cried, both laughed, their hearts healed in that moment. The guards bowed. Even Mira stayed silent, honoring the reunion. Kyle stood back, watching. He felt peace. For the first time in years, peace. Queen Zalaira looked up. Her eyes met his. She walked to him, holding Alira's hand. "You risked everything for her," she said. "You brought back my heart, my future." Kyle nodded. "She brought herself back. I just helped." Zalaira smiled. "Earth has few friends in this galaxy," she said. "But today it has earned one." Alira reached out and hugged Kyle. Thank you, she whispered. For everything. Kyle's voice cracked. Be safe, princess. But far away, in the shadows of deep space, someone watched the whole event through hidden cameras, a mysterious figure in a dark cloak. He turned away from the screen. So, the girl is home. The queen is strong again. That changes everything. He pressed a button. Begin Phase 2. The grand halls of the Volantrian royal palace had never been so full of light and music. Golden banners hung from the ceilings. Thousands of citizens gathered outside the palace gates, cheering, singing, and waving flags. Inside, Princess Alira, now wearing her royal gown and family crest, stood beside her mother, Queen Zalira. After 5 long years, the lost princess had come home. The people wept with joy. The galaxy watched in silence. Even the Galactic Council, once doubtful, now bowed to the truth. But while Alira smiled at the people from the balcony, her eyes kept drifting to the man who stood quietly in the shadows. Sergeant Kyle Reeve, the human soldier who had saved her life. Kyle wasn't comfortable with royal ceremonies. He stood at the edge of the gathering wearing a clean uniform given to him by the queen. His weapons were gone. His mission was over. But a strange feeling stayed in his chest, a mixture of pride, sadness, and peace. Mira, his AI companion, spoke in his earpiece. You should stand closer. You're the hero of the hour. I don't need a spotlight, Kyle replied quietly. This moment is hers. Just then, a royal guard approached and bowed deeply. Her Majesty wishes to speak with you, alone. In the royal garden, under the soft light of twin moons, Queen Zalira stood near the fountain where she once played with her daughter. The air smelled of flowers and fresh rain. Kyle stepped forward and saluted. You asked to see me, Majesty? Zalira turned and gave him a kind smile. She wore no crown now, only a simple robe. You saved my daughter's life. I think we can speak without titles. Kyle nodded. She walked slowly toward him, her voice calm. I have given speeches before, mighty. Councils, fought wars, signed treaties, but I have never owed someone more than I owe you. I didn't do it for rewards, Kyle said. I know, she replied, but still, I must offer you something. Anything you wish. Kyle looked around the peaceful garden. I've seen enough fighting, enough blood. I just want quiet. Home. Maybe somewhere green. Zalira smiled. Then you shall have it. There's a small planet on the edge of Volantrian space. Safe, beautiful. We'll give you a home there. A place to rest. Thank you. Kyle said softly. But one more thing, the queen added. Alira, she speaks of you like family. Kyle looked down. She reminds me of someone I once lost. You gave her hope when she had none, Zalira said. You gave her back to me. They stood there in silence for a moment, 2 souls who had both known great loss, and now shared a moment of peace. Later that night, as the celebration ended, Alira ran through the halls in her royal dress, her bare feet, tapping against the marble floor. She found Kyle near the ship bay preparing to leave. You're going already? She asked, out of breath. Kyle smiled. Was just getting ready. Figured your people had more use for a princess than an old soldier. You're not old, she said quickly. Then her voice turned quiet. And you're not just any soldier. Kyle knelt down to her level. You're home now. You're safe. That's what matters. Alira took off the glowing feather pendant from around her neck, the one he had given her, and placed it in his hand. I want you to keep it, she said. It kept me strong when I was lost. Now I want it to keep you safe. Kyle stared at it. For a moment he couldn't speak. I'll keep it close, he finally said. Alira hugged him tight. He hugged her back. Thank you, she whispered. He gave a small smile. No, princess. Thank you for surviving. 3 days later, Kyle stood on a quiet green hill, far away from any city. A peaceful planet, just like he asked. Birds flew above, trees danced in the wind. A small cabin stood nearby, his new home. Mira's voice spoke from a small device. Peaceful, isn't it? Kyle looked out over the valley. Yeah, for the first time in a long time. He placed Alira's pendant on a wooden shelf beside his window. It glowed softly. He was no longer a soldier on a mission. Now he was just a man who kept a promise. Months passed. Princess Alira trained with her royal guard. She studied politics, languages, and leadership, but she never forgot the man who saved her. Her bedroom wall had a small picture, a drawing she had made herself, of Kyle's ship flying through stars. Then one day, the queen called her into the throne room. A message came, Zalira said. Alira ran to the screen. Kyle appeared, smiling gently. "Hey, princess," he said. "Just checking in. The garden's growing well. Mira's taken up singing, badly. Life's quiet, just how I like it." He paused. "I hope you're doing okay?" Alira laughed through her tears. "I am." At the end of the message, Kyle lifted something, the pendant. "I keep this near the window," he said. "Reminds me that there's still light in the galaxy." The Galactic Council later issued a public apology. They removed Kyle's name from the wanted list and awarded him a peace medal, though he never went to collect it. News of his heroic rescue spread across worlds. Humans and aliens alike began to speak of Earth with more respect. Some even called Kyle the Soldier of Stars. But he never cared for titles. He just kept his little home, planted his garden, and watched the sky. Sometimes he'd see a royal ship fly by high above and smile, because he knew the galaxy was a little better now. One quiet evening, Kyle sat on his porch as the sun set. He held a warm drink and looked at the stars. Then he heard something. Engines. A small royal shuttle landed in the field nearby. The door opened. Alira stepped out, now taller, stronger, wearing her royal armor. But her eyes were still the same. "I told the guards I was visiting a hero," she said. Kyle stood up, smiling. "I thought heroes were just in stories," he said. "You are my story," Alira replied. They sat together watching the stars. And for a long time they said nothing, because some moments don't need words.